Exploring countries, Ukraine. Table of contents. This page tells us all about what we're going to learn about Ukraine in this book today. Where is Ukraine? Ukraine is a nation in Eastern Europe. It spans 233,032 square miles, or 603,550 square kilometers. It is the second largest country on the continent. Its capital is Kyiv. This ancient city stands on the banks of the Dnieper River in the north. Moldova and Romania are Ukraine's neighbors to the southwest. Hungary, Slovakia, and Poland line the country's western border. Ukraine shares parts of its northern border with Belarus. Russia lies to the north and east, and to the south are the seas of Azov and the Black Sea. Their waters meet at the Kerch Strait. Did you know? For nearly 70 years, Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union broke up, and after that, Ukraine declared its independence in 1991, about 30 years ago. This is what the land is like in Ukraine. Flat, fertile grasslands sweep across much of Ukraine. The country's major rivers flow through these plains from the northwest to the southeast. The largest river is the Dnieper River. It snakes through central Ukraine before it empties into the Black Sea. Along the route, dams turn water power into electricity. In the west, the land rises into the stunning Carpathian Mountains. This range holds Mount Haverla, Ukraine's tallest peak. The north contains vast wetlands and forests of birch, oak, and pine. Near the southern coast, lowlands extend into the Crimean Peninsula. Here, the Crimean Mountains tower over the Black Sea shore. This is a picture of the Carpathian Mountains. I think it's really beautiful. The Crimean Peninsula is a unique region that juts out from southern Ukraine. These shallow inlets are cut off from the Sea of Azov by the Arabat Spit. This thin, curved sandbar is nearly 70 miles or 113 kilometers long. The forested Crimean Mountains march along the southern coast of Crimea. Throughout the range, streams cut through gorges and topple over cliffs. At the western end, rocky peaks drop sharply into the Black Sea. Farther east, they slope gently toward the beaches that disappear beneath the warm waves. Here's a fun fact. The Sallow's Nest Castle is one of the Crimean Peninsula's most famous landmarks. Perched high above the Black Sea, the castle is named after a type of bird's nest found on the cliff's faces. Did you know? Vacationers are drawn to the warm, mild climate of southern Crimea. Many visitors relax in the region's spas and resorts to improve their health. Here, we're going to learn about wildlife. The forests and marshes of northern Ukraine are home to all kinds of wildlife. The Eurasian elk, wild boars, and badgers search for food among the trees. Woodpeckers fly overhead while black grouse stay hidden in the ground. Wolves, lynx, and brown bears prowl through the Carpathian Mountains. Roe deer and snow voles look out for these predators. Jerboas hop and marmots scurry through the grasslands of central Ukraine. Nearby rivers are filled with trout, pike, and perch. On the coast, sandpipers and black-headed gulls wade in shallow seawater. Inky black cormorants nest in groups along the rocky shore. In spring, the Crimean mountain meadows come to life with bright red peonies. Here's a fun fact. Traditional Traditional clothing called vyshyfyanka is still popular in Ukraine today. These linen shirts are hand stitched with colorful patterns. Long ago, the designs would differ from region to region. Ukraine is home to around 44 million people. Most of them are ethnic Ukrainians. Russians make up the next largest group. Many have settled in Crimea along the native Crimean Tatars. Belarusians, Bulgarians, and Poles are among the smaller groups that live in Ukraine. These communities often teach and do business in their own languages. Under Soviet rule, Ukrainians were forced to speak Russian in public, but the official language has since been changed to Ukrainian. Russian is still widely used, even around the capital city. Most people, though, understand both languages. Some also speak Sergic, a combination of the two languages. Here, you can practice how to speak some Ukrainian. We can say hello or vitayu. We can say yes or tak. Most Ukrainians live in small city apartments. They ride buses, streetcars, and subways to work and to school. Many also walk from place to place. They stop at cafes and small booths along the city sidewalks. In their free time, city dwellers have picnics at parks, visit museums, and go to movies or shows. The countryside features the traditional kata or village home. A typical kata is made of clay, logs, and straw. Colorful window frames make each home unique. Ukrainians on the countryside work on farms, tend their gardens, and do handiwork. They often hop on bicycles to take short trips. Buses and trains can bring them to larger towns. Here you can see where people live in Ukraine. The pie chart shows that 68.9, or most of the people, live in cities, and 33.1%, or some of the people, live in the countryside. Here is a fun fact. Many city dwellers escape to summer cottages called dachas. They enjoy the opportunity to grow their own vegetables and breathe clean, fresh air. This is what it's like if you go to school in Ukraine. Young Ukrainians must attend school for 9 years. Children begin primary school at 6 or 7. They learn how to read, write, and do math. After 4 years, these students move on to secondary school. During these 5 years, they take classes in geography, chemistry, and foreign languages. They also learn about Ukrainian literature and history. Did you know it can be difficult for rural Ukrainians to receive a quality education? Some students must walk a long way to their school. Many also share their classroom and teachers with younger learners. After secondary school, some people choose to work. Others go to a school that teaches them specific skills. Most students continue with high school. After 2 years, they take a series of exams. High scores allow them to attend a university in one of Ukraine's major cities. University classes can be taught in Ukrainian, Russian, or English. This shows where people work in Ukraine. 68.4%, or most of the people, work in services. 26%, or some of the people, work in manufacturing. The least amount of people work in farming at 5.6%. The rich soil of Ukraine makes for some of the best farmland in Europe. Large crops of wheat, sugar beets, and sunflowers grow in this region. Potatoes thrive in the north, where cattle graze in nearby pastures. In the east, miners dig iron ore and manganese from deep in the earth. Factories use these natural resources to make iron and steel. Ukraine is a major producer of heavy machinery and transportation equipment. Other exports include chemicals, clothing, sugar, and sunflower oil. Most Ukrainians work in schools, hospitals, and other service jobs. Some people work serving tourists at the spas and resorts of southern Crimea. Ukrainians stay active with many sports. They play basketball, volleyball, and ice hockey. Track and field is also popular. The nation's favorite sport, though, is soccer. Ukrainians of all ages join local teams to gather for pickup games. or gather for pickup games. They also pack into stadiums to watch professional matches. When the weather is nice, Ukrainians head outside the city to swim and hike. Many take weekend camping trips. Many take weekend camping trips in the Carpathian Mountains. For longer vacations, families travel to the Black Sea. Coastal visitors can relax in the region's many mineral springs and mud baths. Did you know Ukrainian folk dancers color the stage of indoor concerts and outdoor events? Their energetic kicks, twirls, and leaps attract audiences big and small. We're going to learn about food in Ukraine. In Ukraine, the main meal of the day takes place in mid-afternoon. It often starts with borscht, a soup made of beets and other vegetables. Typical main dishes feature beef, pork, chicken, or fish. Rice and ground meat are rolled up into cabbage leaves for a popular dish. Also on the side are vareniki. These dumplings are filled with sauerkraut, potatoes, or fruit. Some Ukrainian dishes are linked to certain regions or holidays. Banosh is a traditional meal of the Carpathian Mountains. This corn porridge is topped with salty cheese, pork fat, and mushrooms. At Christmas, Ukrainians sip a drink made from dried apples, pears, and prunes. Pascha, a sweet egg bread, has a spot at every Easter table. Fun fact, the Pamka Festival in Lviv celebrates Ukraine's traditional Christmas donut. In 2012, the festival set a world record with a sign made out of more than 7,000 pamkas. Holidays. Most Ukrainians celebrate the new year before they celebrate Christmas. On New Year's Eve, children await the arrival of Dead Moroz, or Grandfather Frost. He leaves gifts under a fir tree. Christmas Eve takes place on January 6th. Families sit down to a feast of 12 different dishes. The first is always kutuya, a wheat porridge with raisins, nuts, and poppy seeds. In spring, Ukrainians prepare for Easter by cleaning their homes from top to bottom. Families attend church services in the early hours of Easter Sunday. Baskets of food are blessed before the morning meal. July brings a midsummer festival called Ivana Kupala. Young women make wreaths out of flowers and herbs. People hold hands and jump over fires for good luck. Fun fact, a didyuka can be found in many Ukrainian homes at Christmas. This bunch of wheat and dried flowers is a symbol of family and good fortune. Did you know Byzantine symbols have changed very little over time? Common designs include plants, animals, stars, crosses, and geometric shapes. Ukraine is known for its long tradition of making Easter eggs called pizanki. A pizanki artist uses wax to draw an egg. When the egg is dipped in dye, the parts covered in wax are protected. This process is repeated with different colors until the design is complete. The artist melts the wax off the egg to reveal a beautiful, detailed pattern. In the past, only women made pizanki. They would decorate the eggs with colors and symbols that represented their family or village. Specific designs Specific designs were passed from mother to daughters for centuries. Today, all members of the family make pizanki to share with loved ones. This Easter tradition brings Ukrainians closer to their rich and colorful past. Fun fact, long ago, pizanki dyes were made with berries, roots, and tree bark. Now people use chemical dyes to achieve bold and bright colors. Here are some fast facts about Ukraine. Ukraine's flag Ukraine's first national flag featured a yellow stripe on top and a blue stripe on the bottom. These colors were based on Lviv's coat of arms. In 1918, the colors were flipped to represent a blue sky over golden fields of wheat. Ukraine's flag changed when it was part of the Soviet Union. The blue and yellow flag was readopted in 1992 after Ukraine regained its independence. The official name of The country of Ukraine is just Ukraine. It's 233,032 square miles. Ukraine is the 46th largest country in the world. Here you can read more facts about Ukraine, like its capital city, Kyiv, and its national holiday, Independence Day, on August 24th. This page shows a glossary. It tells the definitions of words you might not have known while reading this book. I hope you take a moment to read over the glossary to make sure you understand all about Ukraine. The end.